Hi YouTube. I am making this video because I care about the subject of albums of the year. I'm also making it because I need to distract myself from the fact that I just accidentally spent $20 on a lipstick. I'm gonna try to return it, but for logistical reasons, I currently cannot. So I'm just kind of taking deep breaths, doing calming things, being normal. Being normal, that's what I'm doing. And the most normal thing that I can do is actually overthink music. So my issue with my album of the year this year is that I've listened to many albums. I've listened to many albums that have come out. Just kidding, I've listened to like 7 albums that have come out this year. But I can't decide which of them is the one, which of them is my album of the year. So I kind of want to go through my contenders and the reasons why they could be my album of the year and the reasons why I don't think they are. Okay, so I want to start with Alice Glass's album Pray Ivy, which came out in February, I think. Now, the reason why it could be my album of the year is because I really like it. Okay, I like it. I think it's good. I think it's interesting. I think that there should be more albums by women about abuse. I think there should be, because something that I've discovered in the last year that really upset me is that in music spaces with like critically lists of critical acclaim, and especially on Rate Your Music, cesspool Rate Your Music, there are like an overrepresentation of men who have abused women next to an underrepresentation of women. And it's like, it would even be one thing if there were not that many women who were beloved by this kind of music nerd group, but for the women themselves to be outnumbered by men who have been credibly accused of abusing women makes me fucking sick. Like, it makes me really, really angry. And I saw people when the Alice Glass record came out being like, oh, it's not that good, it's a 6, like Crystal Castles was better. I'm like, how are we defining better? How are we defining good? Because when these standards of good consistently lift up male abusers and do not do the same for any women at all, that really, it kind of makes you question maybe what our standards are doing, if they're actually good, or if we should change them. And I think that we should. And I think that one of the first steps in doing that is to not just lionize like one female artist making music about abuse. Like, I think people will be like, oh, you know, we have our Fiona Apples and we have our Lingua Ignotas and all the other women, like, we only have enough room for like a couple. We can have a couple women doing this. And Alice Glass, oh, she did it in the wrong way. It was too, I think I remember people saying that the album was like weird and uncomfortable because she had like these songs from the perspective of her abuser and then from her perspective. And oh, it's jumbling, it's confusing. It's like, maybe the experience of being abused is jumbling and confusing. Like, have you considered that? Maybe? So I see this like weird tiptoeing around women's abuse narratives occur, where it's like part of the shield from being called out for that is, well, I really like Lingua Ignota, I really like Fiona Apple. It's like, that's not actually a smokescreen. Fiona Apple is not your smoke screen, Make that a trending hashtag on Twitter. But yeah, anyway, I thought that the Alice Glass record was good, sonically, and I thought that it was compelling in its place in popular music culture, and its kind of experimental nature of a narrative that it kind of spins. Now, why would it not be my album of the year? Well, because I haven't really listened to it since March. Because when I was listening to it a lot, my life was kind of bad. My life was kind of L at the time. And so I just didn't want to associate to that again through the music. You know what I mean? And so it really is like, it's not an album of the year so much as it was like my album of February. You know what I mean? Or my album of March. So that kind of put a damper on it. But it's still a contender. Okay, I'll go through the rest of my albums. So the next possible album is Rina Sawayama's Hold a Girl. Now, my argument for this being my album of the year is that I think this is probably the album that came out that I talked with people about the most. A bunch of my friends really liked it, and I respect their enjoyment. I didn't enjoy it nearly as much as they did, but we talked a lot about it. I listened to it quite a bit. There are definitely some songs on there that I really like, but overall, I thought the storytelling, the lyricism was not top notch for me. It was not album of the year quality to me, and I thought some of the production was a bit iffy. And that the narrative kind of repeated itself a couple times. Like, I think that Sawayama was a really great album, and I think that Hold the Girl was a bit of a step down. I think Sawayama was I really liked it for its genre experimentation and like going kind of, I feel like there are a lot of genre mashup albums these days because of the mono genre, but I think Sawayama did that really well. And then when I listened to Hold the Girl, I was like, oh, it's Lady Gaga. Oh, it's a pop rock song. Like, it didn't feel nearly as important or innovative. So that was just, those are my reasons on both sides for Hold the Girl. Now, Midnights. Taylor Swift Midnights. There were a lot of people who would say shit like, more like Midnights, am I right? And I just have to say, nothing. I have nothing to say to that. I would have a joke, but I didn't plan any of this ahead of time, so I don't. But that's, the next time I hear someone make a joke about something being mid, I'm just gonna fall asleep on spot. I'm just gonna suddenly develop narcolepsy. And then when they ask, I'm gonna be like, yeah, no, I just, okay, that's what's gonna happen. So, I didn't think Midnights was mid. I didn't. I thought it was pretty good. To be fair, I didn't actually listen to it all the way through, and I still haven't. And I won't. I don't think I will. I just can't be fucked to do that. But the songs that I have listened to, I've really liked. A lot. Like, very, very much. And I've listened to them a bunch of times. So kind of therein lies the problem, right? Is that there are a few songs on Midnights that I've listened to a bazillion times, and a few that I've listened to like maybe once, maybe 0 times even. So the thing is, like, how could it be my album of the year if I haven't and will not listen to it? You know, that's kind of disqualifying, I think. So that's the problem with Midnights. Now, Dawn FM. So I didn't actually realize until recently that Dawn FM came out this year. For some reason, I just didn't really grasp that had happened. Just time has kind of become both a flat circle and a mountain range that rivals the Alps. So I remember I listened to Dawn FM when it came out at the very beginning of the year on a car ride with my dad. And my dad didn't really like it, and so I didn't listen to it again. And then this year I randomly decided to get really into The Weeknd because I think the YouTuber Mike the Snare did like a deep Discog dive on The Weeknd. And I was like, wow, this guy sounds kind of cool. Abel Tesfaye, what a name, right? So I went and I kind of, oh, and then I didn't, okay, so I went on like his This Is The Weeknd playlist on Spotify and I listened to a few songs and I was like, wow, yeah, I remember these songs. I like these songs. I like Starboy. I like these singles. But then I didn't really like get into him until my roommate was like, you know, Ren, you have House of Balloons vibes. And I was like, damn, I'm gonna need to find out exactly what that means. So I did. I listened to House of Balloons and I decided that it was a backhanded compliment, which I probably should have guessed from the beginning, but I didn't because I'm a fucking idiot. But yeah, I listened to it and I really liked it. And so I listened to Starboy next, and then some stuff from Trilogy, and then I revisited Dawn FM like this last month because I had listened to Starboy too much and I had listened to the other one too much. And I was like, damn, this is kind of good. But part of the problem is I'll get on my bike to work, and that's when I'll put it on. And I'll put it on when I come back from work as well. Sorry, Mom, about the fact that I wear both earbuds while I'm biking. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to die. I just believe I'll live, to quote one of my coworkers while she was spraying out an oven with corrosive oven cleaner with no mask and the doors open. Closed. Doors were closed. I opened them. I opened them for her. But that's completely irrelevant to the album of the year conversation. But what I was gonna say is, I basically get through to, the interlude, Stargirl, and then I stop. Oh no, that's the other one. No, I usually get through to the one with Tyler the Creator on it, and then I stop. And when I bike the next time, I start over. It's like, I definitely have listened to it all the way through, and I think I liked it. But the songs that I know are all the first half. And this is just, like, consistently an issue with me as a person, with albums, with music specifically, but as a person. It's a personal failing of mine that I can't listen to albums correctly. It's only ever like the first 3/4 of the first half that I know, and the rest of it is basically bullshit. It could be, it's like if I put an album on shuffle, it's like a Spotify playlist, half of which I know and half of which I don't. That you could have guessed that, but yeah, I feel like it would be cheating to say Dawn FM is my album of the year because I feel like there are Weeknd projects that I liked a whole lot more this year. They just didn't come out this year. So they've kind of buoyed up Dawn FM in my mind. So it's like, how am I going to say Dawn FM is my album of the year when that's the case? Like, it clearly was not dominating over my year in that way. I've listened to it quite a bit, like, these past few weeks. These past few weeks are not a microcosm of my whole year. They're just not. And then the last album that I wanted to talk about was the Carly Rae Jepsen album. Now, was it good? Mostly good, I think. Was it better than Midnight's or Dawn FM? No, it was not. Did I vibe with it more than I vibed with either of those? Yeah, kind of. And there are definitely some songs on there that I really do like. And I feel like it sounded like my year. kind of. And I think I listened to it at a pivotal point in the year. So it's like, it could be my year. It's not good enough, maybe. And also I do not like, so okay, side tangent. That's, those words mean the same thing. On Spotify, I hate that it'll just like, you'll be watching a you'll be putting on music, and then it'll just pop up with like this little clip that'll just boomerang over and over again. I'm like, why do I want that? Like, I do not give a shit about Taylor Swift leaning over a table and smiling at me. Like, why would I want to see that? Like, if I wanted to see visuals with the music, then I would go on YouTube and I would watch the music video. I really don't understand. It's just dumb. I don't like it. And it also can ruin shit for me because I was like listening to Carly Rae Jepsen, and my mom pointed this out. I didn't even notice this. But there's a clip of her where she's like dancing and performing, and she looks skeletal. And it's just, as someone with past problems, one could say, that's kind of offensive to me, and I don't want to say, oh, so and so's body is offensive. Like, that's not something that I would ever want to put out there. But the clip kind of associating with the song, just not my vibe. Like, that's not my year. My year has been a year of weight gain, actually. And you know what? I'm actually good with that. I'm actually vibing. That's been part of my personal journey that I have been on. And I don't think that this Carly Rae Jepsen album in its entirety, with the attached clips, etc., reflects that. Which I feel like is maybe a weird qualification, but that's how I feel. And I wish that something as small as a performance clip didn't affect my thought process that much, but it just does. It just does. There's nothing I can do about it. You can chastise me, you can tell me that's bad criticism. I don't give a shit. But yeah, that's so, in total, there are those albums that I'm thinking about in terms of my album of the year. My reasons for why they would be my album of the year and why they wouldn't be. And I think I'll just post this. And maybe you guys, my friends, whoever ends up watching this, can add your thoughts, your opinions, your albums of the year, whatever you want. I know this one probably wasn't as funny as my other videos, but I guess I'm just not in a funny mood. But I don't feel like re-recording this. So, love you guys. See you some other time.